Hey, this is Ray, Chubby Ray Comics, and I got a question from someone on YouTube that asked me this question. They said, "Man, I wish I could get into, experience, and love comics the way you do. I've been wanting to start for years now, but I know nothing about comics and where to start." Now, this is a question we all love, and this is a question you've seen this a million times on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you watch these videos, you've seen this question, and people are always picking out these are the best books that for someone brand new to comics. So I started thinking, I'm like, let me come up with a list that no one's ever come up with before. This is an unorthodox list of books for someone who's never read comics before. All right. This one's been on a lot of people's list. Batman Hush. Of course, Batman Hush is Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. This is incredible art by Jim Lee. The story is great. And you don't need a ton of background because they give you, this book has so much background in it. So you can learn, you'll learn why Batman's Batman, who Batman hangs out with, who his friends are. And you get to see his cast of villains. Plus, you'll see his friends, the Jokers. I mean, there's his greatest villains are in it. There's Nightwing in it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in Batman Hush. This has got to be on the list. Here's another DC comic for someone who's never read books. This is Justice League. This is Origins. This is from the New 52. You can find an absolute version of this. You can get this in omnibus. You can get this anywhere. Justice League Origins. This is another great story because the heroes in this book have never met each other before. And so you're sort of being introduced to characters and they have no idea who they are. So you're getting to see them for the first time interact with each other. So there's not a lot of background in it. You know what I mean? You jump right in and the story is there. And they're facing one of the biggest, baddest villains of all time in Darkseid. So I think Justice League Origins is a great story to jump into. This might be controversial, but I think Avengers Disassembled and the New Avengers Breakout. These are the first. If I was putting together a reading list for New Avengers, I would start with Avengers Disassembled. In fact, when they came up with the omnibus for New Avengers, it started with the Avengers Disassembled. That's how it started. You get to see it all go to hell and why the Avengers disband. So the first book you would read would be the Avengers disbanding. But you get to see like who all the Avengers were, and you get to see all that stuff as they disband. And then you get to Breakout. This is the New Avengers forming. It's about a jailbreak. A bunch of villains break out of prison, and a group of heroes has to find them. This is an unorthodox, but a really good suggestion for someone who's never read comics before. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is Ed Brubaker. I don't have it on trade paperback anymore. But I have the first omnibus. Any of these books, you see in the back of this, any of those books, Captain America books, you could grab those. They would be a great starting point. This is the most unorthodox of all, but I really think it's a great starting point. Spider-Man: One More Day, which is basically an end story. It's the ending to the first half of Spider-Man. Aunt May has been shot. She's dying. And Peter has to make a decision on what to do in order to save her life. And he and Mary Jane are married, and they make a decision. They make a decision that is life-altering. In fact, it's Marvel Universe altering. So I recommend Amazing Spider-Man: One More Day. Then I would suggest get some new books, some books that aren't part of the Marvel or DC universe. Maybe get something from Image Comics like Invincible. Get Invincible, trade paperback #1. That's a great. This would be a good first read for someone who's never read comics before. It is a good read. You don't need to know any background. You just read it and enjoy the comics. Or get Radiant Black. Radiant Black trade paperback #1 is another one because it's a first issue. You don't need to know any background. It's about a guy who moves from Los Angeles back to Illinois. He finds something that gives him powers, and he becomes Radiant Black. And I think it's a great story for someone who's never read a comic before to start. If you've never read a comic, this is a great start for reading comics, and it will inspire you to get more into comics, which is great. So this is my unorthodox list of books to get you into comics. If you've never read comics before, this is my unorthodox list to get you interested. So Connie K, I hope that you will try some of these books and see if it will bring you into the comic world. All right, dude, let me know. Let me know what happens when you try them. So these are my suggestions. I wish you luck. This has been Ray. You've been watching Chubby Ray Comics. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. I appreciate it. Have a great day.